Hey, what's going on, YouTube? What is up? How we doing? How we living, everybody out there in these YouTube internets and these interwebs? All right, it's your boy Moose coming back at you guys with another video. Okay, and lots of things going on in the news as always in today's world, in this society. You got all types of things happening. Spirit Airlines just literally just went up in smoke, in flames. And now they in the spirits. They in the high heavens because they dead. They gone. So no more Spirit Airlines. Means that you're not gonna have to be waiting for a ridiculous amount of time to be assisted by somebody who is distracted on their phone, or somebody who don't think they get paid well enough by the company, so they don't think speaking to you is their best interest, or customer service is in their best interest, even though that's what they're paid to do. So yeah, at least we don't have to worry about that anymore. But yeah, it's a crazy time. Lots of things happening. But what I want to talk about in this video, not to get sidetracked, okay? Last night there was the Met Gala, okay? And if you don't know, the Met Gala is it's a big event, a big show they put on each year in New York City, basically for the elites to show off how elite they are. I guess it's kind of something like that. It's just like, it's basically just, paying respect to the fact that these elites pretty much feel like they're better than the you and I, everyone else who is not on their level, be it in entertainment, in business, sports, whatever you want to put these people in. These are like the creme of the creme people in each of their respected fields or careers. So yeah, that happened last night. And really what I want to do is react to some of the looks that the people were serving up, because like, if you ever take a close look at some of this stuff, man, it's really giving like demonic images of like what they're wearing and conjuring up as far as like the things that some of these people are wearing. And it's just it's for me, it reminds me of like some kind of event where they're paying tribute to some kind of deity. Okay, I'm not gonna say what that deity is for YouTube purposes, but I think you guys know what I'm hinting at. Okay, and it's not serving a very positive spiritual purpose. But again, I could be wrong, but it's just these are the images that they're serving and they're giving out, and it's just kind of demonic, if you ask me. Not all of it, but some of it is just like, some of it is really extreme. But yeah, let me just stop talking about it and harping on it and just hop right into it, okay? Because that's what y'all here for. You're here for the looks and for the vision, okay? But if you don't mind, please give me a like, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do to support the channel. I'm a moderately sized, actually, I shouldn't say moderate. I'm a very minimal sized YouTube channel that's looking to grow. So I'm trying to put more time in. So please, I really would appreciate it. Thank you guys. So let's go. Let me blow this up though.
YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
All right, so real quick, shout out to the channel here. Kim Osbo, call to an uprising. Love these people's work, love what they do. So just had to put that out there.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. It was the 2026 Met Gala event in New York City. I cover this every year because it's a good way to see how demonic and satanic all of these celebrities are. They, of course, say it's all in the name of art, but of course, how convenient art itself that we've been told is creative and artistic, and these people have this real creativity that none of us have. It's really them getting away with showing you how demonic and satanic and macabre they really are right in front of our.
You see, that's kind of why I feel like it's going to. I didn't want to say that word, satanic, because I feel like it's going to get demonetized on YouTube, but oh well, I'm not even monetized anyway, so that's not something I got to worry about. We move on.
Faces. In fact, one of the most notorious laundering industries on the earth for human trafficking is, of course, the art industry, whether it's art galleries where people pay substantial amounts of money for something that looks like a 3-year-old could draw. We see all these paintings at museums and we're told they're $1 million paintings. Of course, that's an excuse because when you make a painting like that, you can put any type of price on it you want, and the transaction is done via the painting. But of course, what's really being done is a transaction that you don't actually hear about. And the same goes on with the fashion industry. Nobody asks questions about these fashion shows that they have. None of these clothes are available at Target or Walmart or JCPenney or Macy's. All of these bizarre satanic outfits that we always see, they walk the red carpet. They tell us they're designed by Anna Wintour and all of these luxurious, billionaire fashion designers. None of these items are ever available in a store for people to actually purchase. So you wonder how they actually make money. Of course, this is all a front. That's what the fashion industry actually is, and that's how they get away with this stuff. And of course, they try, just like with the music industry, to lure young minds into wanting to be the next big fashion designer when you can't be the next big fashion designer, or to be the next big singer out there when you can't be unless you're in the actual club. And this leads to a life of worthlessness and depression for people who are pretty much the rat in the wheel trying to chase after these dreams that are unachievable because they control these industries and will not allow you to have success inside of these industries. At very best, you could be a local karaoke sensation, but other than that, they will keep control over it. And even if you somehow go viral with your music, just like people on YouTube who have gone viral with channels like this, they will put their foot down on it and make sure you go viral no more and cannot make income doing those types of things. So let's take a look at the 2026 Met Gala. And of course, as I mentioned, the macabre, you see somebody like Beyonce coming out dressed as a skeleton, right? That's real, that's real artistic and creative. Is it Halloween? Well, it's Halloween every day at the Met Gala. And who was hosting the Met Gala in 2026? Well, guess who? It was Jeff Bezos and his husband, his wife, excuse me, something in my throat. Wife. Of course, these are some of the clowns who are represented and told to us that they're rich and they're famous because they're entrepreneurs. And Jeff Bezos created Amazon, and he's flying us into space with his giant Blue Origin penis ship. Of course, the real penis, like I said, his wife was supposedly on that ship that never went anywhere except up and then back down. As we all remember, the videos available on the website where the hatch door was open from the inside, which means they all would have died if they were up in space because air would have been getting in, and they could have just literally pushed the door open up in space and flown right out. But of course, everybody buys what they see on the news, and it's not a coincidence that the Blue Origin is shaped as a phallus because these people all worship phalluses, which is what we see with the obelisk, which represents Baal's shaft. And speaking of shafts, Jeff Bezos' wife again at the event. Sorry, I couldn't actually resist. But the big story about Jeff hosting is that Jeff's getting pushback because the Met Gala has been infiltrated by tacky billionaires. Yet all of these people are satanic billionaires because they print money and they're involved in child trafficking, and that's where they really get their money from. But there's protesters outside, of course, and you would think that the protesters might be protesting because they'd have a clue about Jeff Bezos and the fact that Jeff Bezos isn't really some self-made billionaire, right? Protesters clamor outside of the Met Gala in response to Bezos' involvement. Tax the rich, right? All these people are now against Jeff Bezos because, again, big tech has now aligned itself, one, with Donald Trump, and supposedly big tech doesn't pay their taxes. So really, if these people have a problem with it, maybe they should stop paying their taxes too. But of course, they live in fear and they comply to the system. And of course, they vote, which gives them the unfortunate task of being governed, because when you vote, you're actually giving up your rights, allowing yourself to be governed by these people. And you could see the brain levels of the people in the crowd. We got somebody even dressed as Spider-Man. But what they really should be saying is, well, you know, because we're protesting here is exploitation of Amazon workers, extreme wealth inequality, and corporate influence. And these are all done by design by the government. Because remember, all of these barriers with wealth inequality are going to be torn down. It's all part of the show. Bezos, Musk, how much money they actually have. They're all government assets. They are not rich entrepreneurs who are making money while you're not making money. They're presenting themselves as these rich billionaire tech guys so that the people out there demand that there is equality, because right now there's inequality. So we're going to tear all this down and, of course, have universal basic income.
And that's a great point. That's a great point he's making right there, because you see everything that's happening, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, how Spirit Airlines just completely collapsed. And then Amazon just cut like how many people at their job? They just made thousands of layoffs, along with Meta, and all these tech companies are just laying off thousands of people. Yeah. So there's going to be upset people, rightfully so, who are protesting these events where they're just to be seen to be celebrating the rich and the macabre. And like my man said, there's some dark energy.
But we're going to be told that it's because of these billionaires who have created all this artificial intelligence that is taking over our jobs. But they're such good people. They're going to give us a little bit of an allowance every week so we can live in little cubicles or little shipping containers like in Ready Player One. So they're all upset about all these things and corporate influence. But what they should really be paying attention to is the fact that Jeff Bezos is not a founder of Amazon. He's not a creator and entrepreneur. He is the grandson of DARPA co-founder LP. Guys, all of these.
It takes 90 seconds for this NASA-engineered AC cool down your room. It's smaller than a toaster.
These guys, including Zuckerberg, they all have connections to bloodlines like the Rockefellers and all direct connections to DARPA. And for anyone out there who doesn't know, of course, DARPA is responsible for the creation as well of the internet. It emerged from ARPANET in the United States. Again, ARPANET, the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, was the first wide area packed switch network established by the Advanced Research Projects Agency, ARPA, which is now known as DARPA. So DARPA, the creator of the internet. Of course, Jeff Bezos is the face of creating, purchasing things online, eventually having things delivered online, healthcare online. We saw Jeff Bezos with the store, which again, the Amazon Go store, where you don't have to pay to leave. You can walk in and walk out, which is just conditioning for the mark of the beast, which again, this stuff will all be embedded inside of your body, which happens to be one of the themes of this event, which is transhumanism, right? And don't forget that DARPA is your government. DARPA created the internet. Guys like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are presented as these corporations who are selling you the products that the government wants in your home and wants in your day-to-day life so they can monitor and track you. And the World Wide Web, of course, was created at CERN. And if you pay close attention, you can see in CERN's logo the 666 sign. In fact, you don't even have to pay close attention. It is where the web was born, www, as in the World Wide Web, which again is 666 www in Hebrew. So transhumanism is one of the themes. And of course, transhumanism and demonic possession go hand in hand. Speaking of 666 and hand in hand, we get a ghoul right on the runway here with 6 fingers. Can you guess what ghoul is behind the mask? I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's Katy Perry, another one of Bezos's pals who pretended to be, of course, on Blue Origin, which was fully debunked and exposed, one of the most comical events they've done. And as, of course, Katy Perry reveals its mask, it's doing the all-seeing eye symbolism for everybody to see on the red carpet, so that this could be the main photo that they use when showing Katy Perry's supposedly unique outfit at the Met Gala. And of course, it's just one eye symbolism, which Katy Perry loves, right? Katy Perry holding up the all-seeing eye, right? Horse over its own eye. Of course, we've seen albums where Katy Perry puts her hands over her eyes and has an eyeball in its mouth. We've seen concerts where Katy Perry's even wearing an eye on its shirt. I guess she's a failed optometrist. Just love showing one eye. Maybe she's embarrassed about her other eye, but in reality, she should be embarrassed about a lot of things, including her allegiance to Satan, and probably embarrassed about the thing that it's got dangling between its legs. So Katy Perry, obviously, with the 6 fingers, again, I'm representing transhumanism as man and machine become one. The only talk that you get from what Katy Perry is wearing is the Tesla robot, but Katy Perry's been pushing transhumanism for years. In its music videos, 365, one in particular, where Katy Perry was, again, vaccinated and then became a machine. Does it sound familiar? It's exactly what we're seeing going on with nanotechnology and people getting it embedded in their bodies. Then we got somebody by the name of Janelle Monáe. And if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, guess what? I don't actually care. So what is this thing wearing here? It's wearing a gown composed of 8 succulents, 4 butterflies, of course, the monarch butterfly, because this ties in with transhumanism and mind control, and of course, mixing man and machine, 2 dragonflies, 5,000 black crystals, and 1 computer motherboard with 230 wires. I'm surprised it wasn't 333 wires, but you could see the theme here with robots, machine, and man merging with machine. It's right out of the Matrix, ladies and gentlemen. Then we got the combination, of course, of transhumanism and demonic possession, because they are one and the same. So we get Jordan Roth, whatever this is and why ever this is here, nobody can tell any of us how these people are actually famous and what they do, but they all look the same. They all—
Who? What the hell? What are those? Come on, man. What are those? Nah, man. I just can't. Seriously? I guess if there's one night of the year you can just let your full horrific, soul be free, feeling like you've been chained. It's like, I gotta express myself in this certain way, but it's one night only.
They all look like ghouls that just woke up out of a casket, and you can see this here. It's got a demon climbing on its back because these people are all demon possessed. That's what it really represents. These hands that we always see, the lifting of the veil coming from the other side. I've shown this before with concerts like The Weeknd, where they'll show you all these hands and what's on the other side, and almost like a CERN-like technology being used to bring over what's on the other side, right? Where they tell you to open up the black hole, what they tell you at CERN, again, 666, opening of the black hole, right? Demons, right? That's what they're doing here, trying to bring over demons, telling you that demons are just friendly aliens as part of the alien deception that we see going on. So demonic possession is a big thing, and it's very, very real. And I can guarantee all the people at this event are all demon possessed. So this person wasn't even hiding. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a real demon. This thing has a demon climbing on its back. Nobody's asking what this is, what in the world's going on. I mean, you're going to an event, you're saying to yourself, well, I'd like to be at the event and people to notice me and maybe, mingle and network. Well, this is a perfect way to do it, right? Have something coming out of your back showing that it's literally possessing your body on the inside. And you would say, well, I'm doing this because I'm trying to be creative, right? But it's a common theme. Here's somebody else, Sabine Getty. Nobody knows what this is famous for. Mm-hmm. This thing's walking on the red carpet. Look, it's got hands over one breast, another hand coming around the waist, showing you that there's something else going on inside of these things' bodies, right? Here's another one, Nichapat Soup Hap. Huh? Who? Why is this rich and famous? Nobody knows, right? But the sheeple outside protesting Jeff Bezos, who don't know that Jeff Bezos is really a government agent who is just pretending to sell you government technology. Nobody seems concerned about any of these people and how they're rich and famous. What is this famous for?
Nobody knows. But man, he's funny. But it's seriously true, though. Like, who are you? Why are you rich? And why are you wearing these ridiculous outfits that look so demonic and satanic? Huh? But it's so wild. So wild.
Nobody knows. But look, did anybody did they collaborate with one another? Did Jordan Roth give a call to Sabine Getty? And then did she give a call to Nichapat Supap? And maybe they say, hey, I'm going with this theme of having random hands coming out around my waist onto my, where a vag is supposed, we're told a vagina is, but really we know that's where the one-eyed monster lies. But look at these things. I mean, it's common, right? We're told it's art. So if it's art, it's supposed to be creative and it's supposed to be, inspired on their own, right? But it's repetition. You see them all doing the same exact thing over and over. You even get this demonic ghoul on the red carpet, right? Holding its random weird witch hat over one of its eyes. But look at its hand, right? Satan would look like what you would depict as a demon's hand or Satan's hand, right? Why are their hands red? Is there a reason for it? Right? Well, because you're a demon. So demon incarnates walking the red carpet, not hiding this at all. And then we got this one here, the veiled lady. This is Heidi Klum, dressed as the veiled lady. And we always hear about the veil.
Well, she always goes crazy.
Even we hear about it in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 14 through 18, specifically verses 15 through 17. Even to this day, when Moses is read, a veil covers their hearts. But whenever anyone turns to the Lord, the veil is taken away. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And these people, of course, are showing you that the veil is not taken away from them. They are blinded. This is spiritual blindness that you're actually seeing, right? And this even goes into Isaiah chapter 25, verse 7. And he will destroy in his mountain the face of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. This is spiritual blindness. You don't just see Heidi Klum, who again, Heidi Klum, no problem, right? Doing the all-seeing eye symbolism many times during its career, even recently with a post on Facebook with the all-seeing eye or the heart symbol over the eye. I mean, it's ridiculous how often they do it, but they do it over and over. Here's another person on the red carpet with the veil over their eyes, right? I mean, you got to think about this in common sense terms, what they're wearing on the red carpet, right? No, they're unique. They're kooky, right? These are people who know that everybody in America is probably going to see these photos because they're going to be plastered on CNN, people, wherever. And we can all sit there and go, I don't want to see this crap. Well, none of us do. But we have to obviously know what the enemy's doing and pay attention to the enemy, or even if you want to ignore it, whatever website you go to, you're going to be having this stuff crammed down your throat because that's what they do at the Grammys. That's what they do at the Academy Awards. That's what they do at the Met Gala. Showing you this stuff is they wear this stuff to show you who they really are and who they actually serve. So we had other people. We even had this one with the dollar bill right glued over its face. I mean, we're supposed to believe that this is art, right? More veil symbolism here. And of course, one of the eyes will happen to have a pyramid on it, which, you know, they won't tell you because like that's the dollar bill upside down. We have the New World Order, the all-seeing eye right on it. So it'll be right over Paula Pearson, whatever this thing's name is. Iggy Wiggy, Paula Poopy, nobody knows, nobody actually cares. Then we get Sam Smith. Again, this is another theme of the Met Gala before I get into what's really important here at the end when we see the actual devil itself incarnate on the red carpet. But we get Sam Smith, who has played the devil before at the Grammy Awards, right? Everybody was in an uproar about Sam Smith, who happens to pack fudge on the side. Of course, this is part of the theme, right? What do we see? Men dressed up as women. So he's wearing a gown, and then it's just becoming the new norm where these men were told are masculine men because they might have a little bit of muscle, but probably could get knocked out by a quick little breeze of the wind. These guys are standing there, obviously doing what they do best, which is indoctrinate you and condition you with men wearing female clothing. And of course, people go, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Of course, the Bible obviously forbids this. Most Christians don't know that. In Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5, a woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear women's clothing, for the Lord your God detests anyone who does this. And this is part of what we're seeing, right? The oneness, everything merged into one, man and machine, genders, all of this, men dressing as women, women dressing as men. This is a spiritual war that we are obviously in. So they're indoctrinating young kids out there to think it's not a big deal. The people like us, oh, they're old. They're out of touch with reality. They're all cavemen. They're thinking, their ideologies, all this stuff. Do as thou wilt is what they're building, right? The satanic motto. Do what thou wilt, Aleister Crowley. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. The law of under love, I believe, is the exact quote, right? And that's again part of what we see. Doing these detestable acts, men dressing as women. This is all under the name of love. It's all under the veil, the guise of love, right? So all these men dressing as women. Then speaking of men dressing as demons, we got Madonna. Right, here's Madonna. Of course, the first thing I think anybody would say when looking at Madonna, other than is, Madonna's a witch, right? We all could tell Madonna's a witch. We've broken it down millions of times, and all the symbolism that you could see in all the videos I've done on Madonna, from the 666, the all-seeing eye, always doing it, right? So here's Madonna with a witch's hat. On top of the hat happens to be a boat. I don't know if she's a fan of boats, but really what this actually is that you're seeing here with Madonna and all of these witches who are holding Madonna's gown is Madonna wearing Leonora Carrington. That's right, a Leah Leonora Carrington inspired gown. And you might say, stop calling these people Satanists, stop calling them witches. This is what you do. You just go after these people. Well, this is the painting from Leonora Carrington that Madonna is obviously wearing here, paying honor to Leonora Carrington. You could see the witches. You could see inside there. You could see what's supposed to be what Madonna is, the one in the black. And then you could see somebody poisoning the water in the back. Who would be poisoning the water? I forget who does that. Well, it would be your government, who obviously poisons the water, as we all know, filled with fluoride and other chemicals, as they poison the air as well. And pretty much anything that touches our body, they do their best to poison. And you could see what's dumping that into the water. Of course, it looks like a goat, right? It looks like a Baphomet over there. And Leonora Carrington, for anybody who is interested, who's saying that I'm just saying, oh, you're saying Madonna's a witch because it's easy. Madonna's wearing black. She's wearing a hat. And it's Leonora Carrington. She's an artist. Well, Leonora Carrington's a self-admitted witch, right? British Mexican surrealist artist, author, and occult practitioner who blended magic, alchemy, and Celtic mythology into her art, often described as a real-life sorceress. She embraced witchcraft to explore feminist mysticism and challenge traditional gender roles. Her work features dreamlike narratives, transformations, and powerful feminine figures, making her a key figure in the witchy artistic circle in Mexico. So witchy, in quote unquote, right? But witches aren't real. We're told witches aren't real. And then you obviously, if you're using common sense and you're listening to what I just read, you could start saying to yourself, oh, wow, so this is a sorceress, a witch, practicer of magic and alchemy. And wow, exploring feminist mysticism, right? And this goes into the Kabbalah, which Madonna actually follows and practices, and the Kabbalah is also taught in free.
She very much practices the Kabbalah. Has been talking about that for decades, and we know the Kabbalah is like a satanic, or not satanic, but it's a occultish sect of Judaism. Okay, it's more of the fantastical side, the cultish side of Judaism. So that's where that comes from.
Freemasonry, and of course, they're all protected from reading the Kabbalah, which teaches Jewish mysticism and black magic, because you're anti-Semitic if you question that these people were actually practicing witchcraft, or if you actually question the origins of Dracula and vampires and the blood libel, where we actually saw children being eaten cannibalistically and their blood being drinking. But you're anti-Semitic if you ask those types of questions. But what you should be looking at here is Madonna dressed as a Leonora Carrington picture. And the picture, of course, is, as you saw, what she's wearing. And this woman who drew it is a self-admitted witch who practices feminism and mysticism, okay, and challenges traditional gender roles, right? Well, what do you see Hollywood and the government doing? This is all witchcraft. These are all witches who are pushing these ideologies onto you, telling you that they're normal, this is okay, men dressing as women is fine, women's empowerment, right? Let's get more women's empowerment, all this stuff. This is all about feminism and feminism sorcery that we see going on, telling women not to be moms, telling women, no, the men are just trying to hold you down because they don't want women to be mothers, which is probably the most fulfilling job on earth. Now, I'm not a father or a mother, and I am not a woman, so I wouldn't know what being a mother actually is, but I would have to guess, being that God created us, that being a mother would probably be one of the most fulfilling things on the planet, especially talking to women who are mothers and what it means to them to be mothers and having children. And then looking at the women who have never had kids, and this is not a knock on women who didn't have kids or don't have kids who listen to this channel, but I'm talking about the government in general pushing it. Now, it might be your choice. Maybe you never met anybody. Maybe you weren't fortunate enough to have kids. Maybe you can't have kids, okay? The notion of being a mother has been frowned upon in our society, has it not? They make movie after movie after movie. The mom wants to blow her brains out, right? Oh, it's not fair. Dad gets to go to work and I'm home with the kids. I want to go to work. Huh? Who in the world will want to go to work? Well, the government wants you both to go to work. You know why? Because if you both go to work, you're not going to be able to afford anyway to pay for a nanny or someone to watch your kids. Why not just for free stick them in the institution so that we can raise your kid for you and teach them about a world full of lies? And then we end up where we are now, where everybody believes in all the lies, and it's nearly impossible for people like me to help peel the layers back, and they're already conditioned and poisoned minds into actually seeing what reality is versus the reality they've been told actually occurred, which is not real, which is in fact a matrix. So that again is part of this divine feminism that we see. God is a woman, Ariana Grande, this women's empowerment movement. It is to poison the minds of women into thinking that if you're a mom at home, it's sexist, it's worthless, don't cook, don't clean, all these stereotypes, all deliberately done. Again, this has always been about even the feminist movement was created by the government themselves. Why was it created? It was created to get women into the workplace so that all the children were raised by the institution. So they spend 8 to 10 hours a day getting their brains pummeled with lie after lie after lie, pointlessness after pointlessness. And then, of course, the children being exposed to other children who then will spread, whether you keep your kid away from tech and all these things or not. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in
I think
school.
he's making a great point there, but I'm just gonna call it there. Just because I don't really know if he's gonna be talking about the Met Gala anymore. But that's really what I wanted to talk about and really just show you guys, because I think it's so crazy how they just come in front of our faces and just put that blatantly, where they're worshiping mystical deities. Okay, essentially, that's what they're essentially doing with that Met Gala. Okay, and wearing all these provoking outfits, like ghoulish looking, like horrific looking outfits. And they're like, oh, this is just for fashion. This is just, so we can show off our artistic creativity, with our fashion designers and in a big display for one night. Yeah. Color me with bullshit. Okay. That's the most BS I ever heard. And then you have someone like Bezos and his wife running it, who are all about the dollar, that they worship the dollar, which essentially is worshiping the devil. And then, you got that one lady who had the dollar over her eyes, the Sarah Paulson actress lady. And I heard she's been getting lots of backlash for that. And she tries to act like she's all artistic, like she's trying to represent. Oh, she said this is to show you, this is to stick it to the 1%. Well, lady, you have to pay $100,000 to get it to the Met Gala. That's only the 1% that's affording that for some kind of event for one night. So yeah, that's you, lady. But I think it's just wild that this is going on. But that Met Gala is really insane to see. But yeah, shout out to my people. Shout out for sticking around. Love you guys. Make sure you guys, again, hit that like and subscribe. And I know I'm going to keep doing better videos, but until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.